Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Just Asking. I'm your host, as always, Jeremy Coddlehorse, asking the real questions of the modern era. Before we get into tonight's segment, I want to say thank you to all of you who have sent me letters, left calls at the studio, wishing me well, and I appreciate your patience with me as I was getting back to things. And of course, a big thanks to the studio family, hi guys, for being so supportive in this time. But let's get to it, shall we? All right. So folks, would you believe that there is such a thing as toxic positivity? Well, there is. In brief, it is the ineffective and oversimplified notion of perpetual happiness and optimism across all situations. No matter what happens, put on a happy face. No. And they say this to the detriment of other valid emotions and feelings within a scenario. You must remain positive and happy. It's what I also like to call creepy camp counselor enthusiasm. That way too peppy vibe for whatever mundane occurrence is happening. You know, just turn that frown upside down. That's just creepy and terribly weird. And I've noticed lately, a lot of other, and I generally hope well-meaning people, peddle and preach this nonsense, including these so-called wellness gurus to unlock the secret of happiness. Like, what the heck is that? Folks, it's okay to be mad or sad or otherwise upset when something upsetting happens. If you lost your job or your home or had a car accident, it would be strange, nearly frightening, to see someone happy and excited about such occurrences. You wouldn't sit around drinking coffee while your house is on fire, would you? You would just be sitting there, this is fine. I'm okay with the way things are going. This is acceptable. No, you'd probably be panicking. You'd be trying to grab all your important things, get your family out of there, get the pets out of there, scream to the neighbors, call 911, the whole 9 yards, right? I mean, let's look at this another way. When you see a great theater production or a captivating film, what draws you in the most? Good acting. And what, pray tell, do these actors do? They emote. You feel their despair, their anger, their jealousy, their grief, their joy. And yes, those positive emotions too. Nothing will ruin an otherwise great climactic production than bad emoting if they are just stiff and wooden watching their comrade die. No, my friend, I will avenge you. That would not be a very good film, would it? It'd be very boring and very stiff. We want to see in those action blockbusters that lust and rage, that fury, that powerful emoting. I mean, look, even Arnold Schwarzenegger can make brooding moodiness and the silent menace feel real by properly emoting. Now, I get there is some theatrics to emoting, but the point is, emotions make the scene, they make the character. They are just bigger-than-life examples of what we ought to be feeling in similar real-world equivalents. It's just so strange to me that you are encouraged and even compelled in some cases to be happy no matter what happens. It goes against every human instinct. When I get a flat, I don't calmly pull over. It's, oh darn, I have a flat tire. No, I usually shout in alarm, scream, then pull the heck over as fast as I can. Then, once I've finally calmed down, I call AAA and I deal with it. You're allowed to have negative emotions in a negative scenario. I'm just so sick of hearing that every bad event is an opportunity for happiness. I'm sorry, what? Are you being serious right now? I mean, that is just dangerous thinking. You are not acting rationally. Maybe it is, but in the moment, you don't have to be joyful. You can be scared and panicked, whatever you're feeling. It's okay. You can be sad or glad or happy, whatever, as the situation dictates. It's okay to give yourself permission to emote how you feel is best in the moment. Your parents are sick? Go ahead and be worried. Lost a job? It's all right that you're scared. Did grandma die and she was your best friend? By all means, bawl your eyes out. This goes double for us guys who are too often expected to be the pillar of emotionless stone. That has its place. But not showing your emotions? That's toxic masculinity. By denying our need to express the complex range of feelings and emotions, we only hurt ourselves. If we keep trying to keep the bad at bay, you are just putting the problem off and making it worse for another day. It's okay to lean on a friend or a partner or a family member and say, hey, I'm having a bad go right now. I need some help. That's not weakness. That is a hallmark of true emotional intelligence and strength. But if you are just going, no, I'm fine, nothing bothers me, everything is okay, it is acceptable, but behind those eyes, you're hurting so badly. You are bottling up all that emotional energy, and eventually, guess what? The dam will break. The flood will be devastating. So go on, emote, allow yourself to feel. Do it anyways. You're going to feel it eventually. So why not express it in a healthy way? Don't fake it till you make it. Let the feel become real. Just, please, give yourself that room. Go to commercial. Come on, guys. Just come on. Welcome back, folks. Now, some may think I should apologize for my vehemence in that last segment, but you know what? I'm not going to. No. This is too important to not get emotional over. That's the whole point. What you saw and heard was exactly what I'm talking about. I know Jacob was worried about me, but I'll tell you the same thing I told him. I'm tired of this false positivity BS, and I don't care if it's not what we planned. I'm going to continue. It is too important. How so? Because bottling it up is the problem we are facing. We keep tamping down and canning our emotions, putting them away for another day. But guess what? When you overpressurize something, eventually it's going to break. And when it comes to emotions, it's going to burst. A facade of fake emotions, or pretending you feel nothing at all, is just a mask that you're wearing, and eventually it's going to break. Especially if you never take it off and feel what you need to feel. Sure, we put on that kind of facade for work gatherings or certain social situations, but that's just called being courteous. You're not that way all the time. Sure, you may not care about your coworkers' weekend. Oh, they power wash the house. Great. You don't ask because you're terribly interested in power washing. You ask because you're being polite. And you know, eventually, we have to feel these feelings, and we have the choice of how to let ourselves feel them. We can do it by a drip, you know, like I said, reaching out to people, reaching out to friends and family and such, to say, hey, I need to get this off my chest. That's a pressure release valve. But if you keep bottling it up, kaboom, and that's no good for everyone. Sure, beating the crap out of a boxing bag or pumping iron is a great way of reducing and getting out that excess energy. So is talking about what makes you mad or excited. Venting is a necessary part of expressing ourselves. Remember that pressure release valve? That's what I'm talking about. Especially when it comes to those emotions that physical exertion doesn't help. Now, why, you ask? It's catharsis. See, bottling it up makes you resentful because you can't speak your piece. Whether airing your grievance or championing your interest, you can't be you. You are denying yourself your own personage. That would drive anybody insane. Bottling it up and trying to be unemotional dehumanizes you. You must have the strength for yourself to show your emotions, because they are the purest representation of who you are and what you're about. Now, that's not to say you'll always be right about whatever you're passionate about or for or against, but it gives you a chance to be heard, to be validated. Never underestimate the power of being heard. It can be psychologically harmful to never revel in something you achieved or love, to never rant about what you think is wrong or can be fixed. That can easily lead to depression or worse. The fact of the matter is, we are emotional creatures. We have, for better or worse, the wonderful gift of abstract thought. We are not, nor should we attempt to be emotionless beings. Sure, there's a lot to be said for Star Trek's Vulcans, but as we are not such a rigidly logical species, we must embrace our emotions, not keep the very thing that makes us human locked away in some hidden cabinet behind the bookshelf that you can only open with the right book and sequence, you know? We are not perfect, but we are better for trying our best. You don't want to end up a Stepford wife, especially by your own hands, do you? Ugh. That book, it's not a satirical thriller, folks. It's a horror story. Again, be true to yourself. Feel free to express yourself. If your cat dies, go ahead, be devastated. That's a family member you just lost. Indeed, that reminds me of something very powerful I experienced when I was growing up. The first time I ever saw my father cry when I was just a boy of 16, and we had to put our cat down due to throat cancer. He was a good little boy. Sorry. Yeah, I cried. But you know what blew me away? Was seeing my father with tears streaming down his face while he held Fluffy as we said our goodbyes before we took her to the vet. Did I think any less of him for it? Absolutely not. It was a bonding moment because I saw the same grief, the same pain, the same loss in my father that I saw in myself. If anything, I had more respect for him as a result. It's a very poignant memory. Please, take this to heart. If nothing else, let it out. Be yourself. Express yourself. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening. See you next time.